What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Fans of Something. It is July 24th, 2023, 7:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And tonight we have a very special guest, someone that usually when we have our evening withs, we've never met the person. And this is a different case because this is somebody that I've known for many years.
And I've just met for the first time.
And you just met him for the first time. And he is a professional cinematographer. He is in the entertainment industry. So this is very exciting because obviously we're a movie channel. We love film. We love all that stuff. And so this is going to be a really exciting opportunity for us, for the live chat, for anybody watching on the replay, to get to know somebody in the actual industry, right? You can talk about your favorite cinematographers and all that stuff, but this is somebody that actually does it for a living. He has kibitzed back and forth with some of the top pros in the industry itself. We're going to pull up an image here at some point. He met Dean Cundy not that long ago. Dean Cundy, of course, being probably like the John Williams of cinematographers. So he's
crazy.
He's DP'd like all the iconic films. It's insane, his resume, Dean Cundy. So we're very excited to have my friend, my really good friend and cinematographer Mike Kozlenko on the channel tonight. Every evening with goes, we have our predetermined questions that we're going to have pop up on the screen so that you guys can get to know him a little bit better. I obviously know Mike, again, many years. And I'm sure we'll touch on some of that stuff, and then we'll get into his career now, see where he is, and all the exciting stuff that he's been working on. All his links are down below in the description box. So if you want to check out his website, his Instagram, one of his reels for 2023, all that stuff, go down there. All the links are in the description box, and support. So without further ado, we're going to bring him in, and then we're going to obviously see who's joining us in the live chat. So let me make sure everything is copacetic here with the backgrounds and everything. Okay, cool. What's up?
What's with you and these words?
Oh, my word choice tonight? Yeah, it's bizarre. All right, so here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great friend and cinematographer, Mike Kozlenko.
Hello. Yeah, how's it going, guys?
Good, man. How's it going?
It's great. It's a little hot here in Texas. By a little, I mean like ridiculously unbearable, but
yeah. So that's where you're coming to us from, Austin, right?
Yeah, I'm in Austin, Texas.
Cool.
Never been to Texas.
Never been to Texas? No, I have. Yeah, I've been to San Antonio, and I've been to the Alamo and all that stuff.
Do you remember it?
Vaguely. Yeah. I forget. I think it was my dad. Shout out to my dad. Shout out to both our moms. Because again, that's how far back this friendship goes. We were like little guys, just hanging around, watching movies, and it's insane where we are today, dude. Like just in terms of you're literally doing the thing that you have wanted to do for so long, and it's insane. So
you're over here with me in Savannah, Georgia.
Well, I mean, and we're doing the movie stuff, we're doing the channel and talking about movies, and I love that. I love like the, if anything, being a movie commentator kind of thing is really cool. So but it all started, years ago. I literally, dude, I can remember us watching Steven Spielberg's Duel at your house.
Yeah.
Like on a little TV or a little computer monitor in I think it was like the exercise room.
Yep.
And there was like a treadmill behind us.
Exactly. That treadmill is still there. Back home.
But we were just I think we started the day by playing basketball because that's what that's what
you do when you're a little guy.
But no, that's what he wanted to do initially. I'll let you tell the story, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, my journey to cinematography began when I had the stunning realization that I was not going to be an NBA player. It was a crushing blow, but you can't make the NBA when you're not too athletic and you can't play defense, and you can't really score the ball at all against your competition. So
Don't tell me he was better at basketball than you.
No, he was way better. He was way better.
No, I had the upper hand against Eddie, but I didn't have the upper hand against all the really good players at my high school. So, so I was like, I need something to do, and I was in this TV production class, like intro to TV production, and I never really paid much attention to it. Like I was just kind of like cruising along because I was like, I don't need this. I don't need anything. I'm going to be an NBA player. And well, the school year was ending, and I was like, oh man, like I need to quit basketball because it's gonna take me nowhere. What am I gonna do? Like math club? I was like, let me try this TV production thing, and I didn't at first have any particular affinity to it whatsoever. I was like, like we were just kind of doing the morning news and whatnot. But then and so like some of the other students didn't really want me in the class either because like I wasn't like super invested in it or anything like that. But eventually as I started to learn about camera and enjoy it, and when you enjoy something, you're going to want to get better at it. So then I got better at it, and then so on and so forth. And I continued through high school and filmed lots of stuff. We filmed our little short films here and there at my house.
Short temper.
Yeah, a couple short films that I hope no one sees.
I am in them. Yes, I am in them.
Are these accessible on the internet today?
So
no.
So I do want to because I couldn't find short temper, bad temper. I couldn't find that
Short
one.
temper.
Short temper
is my directorial debut.
It was your doodle bug,
yeah,
if you will.
Right.
But there is one private caller that I will pull up here just for shits and giggles. For shits and giggles.
Jeepers.
Yeah, jeepers creepers.
I feel like
I tried to get it taken down because I forgot the username and password and the recovery email for the account where I posted that. So I tried like reaching out to like Google.
They're like, what?
I never heard back. So
yeah, they're like, what is this guy? He wants us to take a video down because he's embarrassed.
It's our whole shtick.
But you know what? Here's like short temper is awful. It's funny though. Private caller, for all it's whatever you think about it, and you'll do like a quick commentary, a director's commentary on it. I think it's okay. At the very least, I think it's okay.
It at least used like generic visual grammar,
So I have it hold on, I have it saved here.
This is like the equivalent of like Quentin Tarantino's like me and my friends' birthdays or something.
This is not the equivalent to that.
That's the other thing. For anyone that doesn't know, Mike has a very like him and I, we have that like camaraderie, but your like sense of humor is so amazingly dry. I love it. It's not that funny. But here it is. All right, so I'm gonna pull it up here. 10 years ago.
Oh wait,
10 freaking years ago.
Scroll down. I want to see.
The date is November 20th, 2012 is when this was published.
Oh no.
Oh boy, we're in for a ride here. All right, so here we go. This is what? Is this like the second or third thing that we filmed together?
This would have been the second.
The second thing, okay. Because what everybody has to remember, literally anytime Mike and I would hang out, we would get together. We would literally, it would start at the dinner table, and we would just suddenly start, like, Mike would start talking about ideas that he had in his head of something he wanted to film that day during the hangout. And I would just be like, game for it, because, you know, at that time I was doing the acting thing. So it was perfect. He was the filmmaker, I was the film worker in a way. So it was a perfect friendship that blossomed from there. We would watch movies and do all this stuff. So these ideas came about just hanging out, going, what can we do today? Like, what can we film? And
start somewhere, I
you got to start
guess.
somewhere. You have to start somewhere.
Yep.
So this is Private Caller. Here it is right here. I'm sure you can see the screen as well. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Sweet.
Like, unfortunately.
All right, here we go. We'll make it, hopefully you should be able to hear it as well. I think it's a solid minute and 20 seconds. Here we go. Hello? Hello? Oh. Hello? Hello?
Bravo to baby Eddie.
Oh man, yeah.
There it is. There it is. So
I guess my question is, why did you have two phones to begin with?
Well, back in the day, people had like landline phones.
Yeah.
And
typically they're on the hook, not sitting at the desk.
look, there's a lot of things you could pick apart there. That was Mike's room that we were in there.
That was my childhood bedroom.
That was your childhood bedroom there. And yeah, oh man, like those glasses I remember having. And that one I don't really remember much about. Honestly, I remember the first one, the short temper one, because that one's just off the hook. Like your head explodes and all this stuff is going on in that movie. Short, whatever. And this one I don't remember much about, but just looking at it, right? Just looking at it, knowing what you know now, is there anything in there that you are like, you know what, for 10 years ago, good on you, Mike. Good on you.
Yeah. Not a whole lot. I mean, at minimum, there was some sort of idea of like visual tropes and like, you know, the size of something in the frame, you know, showcasing the significance of that. So when we punch into, you know, private caller, like on the private number or whatever it says on the thing, you know, it's kind of filmmaking 101, but you know, it at least illustrates some sort of understanding of that. So.
All right. And so now I have, because I don't want to show that and then just leave it at that, right? So that's 10 years ago, everybody. Now this is 2023. This is 11 years later. So this is, if you go to Mike's website, this is what you're going to be able to see right here, his reel. And so what you just saw 10 years ago, 11 years ago, now this is what we got here.
Wow.
Tell me that ain't a night and day freaking difference if you've ever seen one.
Range.
Right? So those are all various, like what are those? Those are various.
It's just a showcase of like my body of work. So if somebody were to wonder, like, you know, what does Mike Kozlenko shoot, or who is Mike Kozlenko, the cinematographer? You know, I point them to that.
And that's just like commercials. That's there's like short films that you have done. Are there clips from that
Commercials,
taken?
narrative, TV,
Yeah.
and whatever other like branded content and whatnot. So a mixture of like passion projects to like paid commercial work and things of that sort, of various different like scopes and, you know, crew size and scales and all that stuff. So some of the commercial stuff, like, well, you know, I had the luxury of a larger crew, and, you know, but there's some stuff that it was just, you know, me and like two other people, and we still made stuff look cool.
Insane. And you somehow found a way to kind of make it look like it all tied together, you know? Did you do all the editing, or was that someone that edited it for you?
I edited that myself. I'm not an editor. But I am when it comes to like the best way that I can showcase myself. Like giving that off to somebody to do, like, I won't necessarily like do it justice, because I know exactly how I want to be perceived as an artist. So I'm gonna do the editing to try to illustrate my sensibilities the best I can.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, editing's a whole different trade.
Yeah, it's why I don't do it professionally.
All right, so here we go. We're gonna go through these questions here that we have pre-planned. They're gonna pop up on the screen, so we're putting you on the spot here.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. It's exciting stuff. And live chat, we are gonna get to you, so stick with us here. Stick with us. We see you there.
Chatting.
Stay chatting. Also send in any questions you have for Mike as well. All right, so the first one. This is the obvious one. I think I know why, but no one else really knows why. Why cinematography?
Cinematography is, I mean, it is what I first noticed that I was drawn to in the filmmaking process. Just how an image looks and how that translates to how you feel. And most of like what I noticed when I first started discovering cinema as an art form was just how the image looks. And it's like, okay, like this image is blue, and the framing is like, you know, they have the character off to one side, and there's a whole bunch of negative space, and that makes me feel like that character is alone and sad. And like that's what I first picked up on. And when I first started, I had no idea what a cinematographer was. I was just kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna make things and like kind of do everything. And eventually, as I started learning, like, at the beginning, I thought I was gonna be a director, but then when I started actually making projects, I just ended up focusing on the cinematography anyways, and like, you know, uh, like in school and college and things of that sort, like I was just like, yeah, like acting, like do the acting thing, but like we really need the light to be right there. And like that was just what I gravitated towards. And I I just really like I just really like the image. Like I really like camera, and to me, it's you are a director, right? Like as a
Yeah.
cinematographer, you are a director of everything that you're like just seeing on the screen. The director is everything, right? Like they're the actors and the sound and production design and the cinematography, and like um, they're painting the whole thing holistically, but you're able to hone in and like work with your team on just crafting um, some iconic images.
You're really focused on the visual aspect of the film media.
Right. And it's so, yeah, and it's so important because that is what it's one of the main things that separates film from any other art form. Um, so it's something that is able to change throughout the course of a film, and there's so many different styles, and you have so many different flavors you can do in a particular film, and you just have the ability to explore so many artistic avenues with cinematography alone that I was like, I don't need to do anything else. I'm happy just doing this. There's so much, you know.
Yeah, that's another thing that you're gonna find that I just always go. That's another thing that I remember, but I do remember talking about when you first got into the classes at high school, because we went to the same high school, and um, I was like, oh, dude, okay, cool. So you don't want to be a basketball player anymore. You want to be a Steven Spielberg. You want to be Christopher Nolan. You want to be Kubrick. That's what you want to be. Um, Fast forward now, Dean Cundy, Emmanuel Lubezki, all those guys and women, and just anybody that is prolific in that area. That's what you want to be now. That's what you
Right.
want to go for. And the other thing is, we've also talked about this a lot anytime we get together. You're not even necessarily focused on feature length films,
At
right?
the moment, I'm not.
At the moment, you're not. But at some point, you want to get into feature length film.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah, that's actually a little bit of a more recent shift in like how I'm thinking about my career is you know potentially exploring the feature film um, sect of the industry more than I was before.
a question, not one that we have predetermined, but if you could attribute like one piece of media, whether it be like a music video or a movie, TV show that you saw that really made you think that that's so important. This is why I want to do what I do. Or maybe not even just one, a couple if you can't pinpoint it. What would you
Yeah.
attribute it to?
Hmm. Um, the first film that this was even before I quit basketball and made the decision to pursue filmmaking, but it was the first one that I saw that like really made me feel something, and it made me um, understand that cinema is a real art form and that there's like an army behind each and every film. Is The Dark Knight. When I watched The Dark Knight, I was like, man, like this isn't just a thing to just go sit and look at. Like there is such a deep framework of, of art of artistry behind it in every possible like department of that production. The writing, the music, the acting, the lighting, the camera movement. It's all incredible, and and the Dark Knight trilogy as a whole, like it was one of the first series that like I kind of wanted to sort of like explore and think about thematically. And to me, it's about like a man that gives everything back to a city that took everything from him, and that self-sacrifice. And yeah, I find that incredible. So that's one major one. And then I would say Star Wars, like maybe not so much like the newer stuff, but like classic George Lucas Star Wars, just light versus dark, good versus bad. The theme of like redemption and power, and how power corrupts. And you know, it's that series, like the themes that George Lucas brought to that whole story was something I was like, that aligns so much with how I see the world. Like just, you know, and it's very like, it really is a very like hope filled like series. And I just love, like George Lucas said in an interview, he said, you know, Star Wars is for kids. Like it's a very like, there are adult themes in it, and you know, we're showing like this is a difficult world, but like there's always hope, and there's always light. So yeah, those two things.
And particularly Revenge of the Sith, the poster behind you.
Revenge of the Sith. That one.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, no, I love Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith and Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, A New Hope. I mean, I like all of them.
Except for the new stuff.
The new trilogy, I don't care too much for. And then the Rogue One is really good. And then I like a good bit of the Mandalorian show.
Okay.
So
yeah, the two things you named are the two posters in your background.
Well, yeah, I mean that's sort of.
Oh yeah, I didn't even plan that.
That's funny.
I do remember quite a bit of the hype, because this is right around that time when the trilogy was. So the Dark Knight had come out, and I remember we like anytime Mike and I would get together, we would go on his computer and we would just look up news on the Dark Knight Rises, like the final capper to the trilogy, like the hype leading up to Rises, which is my particular favorite of the trilogy. That's not a popular opinion by any stretch of the imagination. I think most people would go Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises. I think for some reason Rises gets a lot of, and I haven't watched it in a long time to understand why it gets so much critical feedback. But I just think it's such a cool, I just think it's the perfect villain. Tom Hardy as Bane is just insane. The whole criticism of you can't understand a word he says. I don't get that.
I loved Rises. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, I think all of them are excellent. So
that's your favorite trilogy, or is it The Godfather?
Well, The Godfather isn't really a complete trilogy because of number 3. So it's hard to
say.
Put that in the. You know, I was gonna say Toy Story as a trilogy, but then they made 4, which I haven't seen yet.
They made 4, and 5's on its way.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Got announced like a couple months ago.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well,
oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'd say Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Have you seen the Before trilogy, the 3 Richard Linklater movies?
Yeah, with you.
Okay. I don't remember who I showed those movies to.
I watched all of them with you.
With that, well, funny, like that's a funny trilogy to watch. You know, just 2 bros.
2 dudes, 5 feet
just 2
apart,
bros hanging out and watching the Before trilogy. Yep. But would that rank in like a top 10 trilogy or top 5 somewhere in there?
Maybe.
maybe.
I don't know. I haven't really thought too critically about I don't know, best trilogies.
Okay.
What about
So
Austin Powers?
What about Austin Powers?
oh yeah, that might be number one.
Oh, for sure.
And okay. So Christopher Nolan talk. Let's talk about it because it's the big talk of the town. We all three of us saw Oppenheimer over the weekend. Did you see it in IMAX?
Yeah.
Okay, same. What did you think? Is this your new favorite Nolan?
Best movie of the decade.
I thought it was quite great.
Okay.
So it's really interesting because like, it almost feels like me saying that it was like quite great is like a diss. I was gonna be honest, I was expecting it to be like phenomenal. I was thinking like, okay, this is gonna be in my head, I was planning like, okay, I'm gonna rate this a 9. Um, that was what I thought I was going to think of it. And
You cut out right as you said a 9 point, and then that's it.
I thought it was going to be a 9.5 out of 10.
Okay.
And for me, it kind of landed at like 8.7. So I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was really just incredible, poignant filmmaking from top to bottom. Like just really, really interesting themes throughout. And yeah, it was wonderful.
It was okay. What did you think of the runtime? Did 3 hours fly by for you? Did it need to be 3 hours?
I didn't feel like it was a long 3 hours. I thought, to me, the film almost felt like 3 different films in one. So, like, it was a character portrait, for one of them. Another one, it kind of felt like an espionage film, like, who's the spy, like,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And also the middle section with the bomb and like the way they filmed that, the whole test, like I thought it was brilliant. And then it was like a political drama, like a courtroom drama as well. So it had all 3 flavors in it. And
those were all 3 flavors you ate up.
yeah, I thought it was, yeah, I mean, just they made Oppenheimer such a compelling character. Like he was certainly at the forefront. Like, it was probably a creative decision. Like, we're not going to show like a scene of like the bomb dropping on,
Hiroshima.
Japan or anything. Or yeah, like they were like solely focused on like the man and like really diving into like, who is morally responsible, like who takes the moral burden for something like this. And like, is it, it begs the question, like, do the ends justify the means? Like, is it sometimes they do, sometimes they don't? It kind of explores that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought that was really great. Cillian Murphy was just outstanding. Like, he's been in so many movies, so many Nolan movies, and like it didn't feel like you're watching like, oh, that's Scarecrow or
Yeah.
like he was just totally that character, and he played him so hauntingly and like so perfectly.
Yeah, I agree. Like the interaction between him and who was it? Truman?
Yeah.
Him and Truman, Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh, okay, there's Gary Oldman. Because I
There
knew
goes Gary Oldman.
because I knew he was in the movie.
Yeah.
And the whole movie goes by, and I'm like, did I miss Gary Oldman?
Yeah. I
Where was
didn't
Gary?
recognize him at first. I didn't recognize him at all.
Yeah, me neither. It took especially because of the IMAX of how big the image was, like on those
Right.
close-ups of Truman's face. I was like, oh, hold on, that's Gary Oldman. But that was, I think, upon rethinking the whole film, I think that was my favorite scene in the whole thing weirdly enough.
Well, I think I just learned that scene was quite literally verbatim what happened in real life,
What
like almost
happened?
word for word.
Yeah, that is
Wow.
true.
Yeah, that was a great scene. Because like you said, the moral dilemma. Oppenheimer's feeling so responsible for this, and
I have blood on my hands.
and then Truman just leans over and goes, "They don't care who made the bomb; they
Right.
care who dropped the bomb."
Yeah.
Oh man, that was good stuff. Yeah. Overall, I think personally, I thought it was just a little too long.
Mhm.
I do think it could have been cut down to 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, apparently there's no CGI whatsoever in that movie. Do you believe it?
I was gonna say, is that even possible?
Yeah, I heard that, and I didn't know what to think of it because, like, what does he mean? Like, are they saying there were no VFX touch-ups at all? Because I feel like that's pretty much that's not possible. Like in a $100 million film, like there's going to be some VFX touch-ups.
Yeah.
Like there's just things that happen. Like they shot the film incredibly quickly. Like they shot it in 57 days, which for a film of that scope with that runtime is like insane, especially on IMAX film cameras.
Mm.
Like that is no easy achievement. So, what happens is like you have to be getting your shots quickly. Like you can't be lollygagging around too much. So there's going to be some gear in the shots here and there that you need to roto out, or you need to composite out in post. So I'm sure there had to be some of that. And like there's a section in the credits for visual effects. So
Maybe
I
it has to do like maybe they're trying to reference like the bigger things like the bombs themselves or like how they age down and age back up, Cillian Murphy, stuff that would normally be attributed to
CG.
heavy CG.
Yeah.
Like it's a
if
cop out.
anything, it might just be like the explosion scene that maybe Nolan was adamant, like, no, not a single thing gets touched on this or enhanced, which even then I feel kind of confused. Like you can get it 95% of the way there and just like add a couple like things, to
Yeah.
spruce it up. So maybe that's what they did. I'm not sure. I knew a VFX artist that worked on one of the Nolan films, and he told me that like there's a lot more VFX than like anyone would admit to
Okay.
in some of his films. So like he had worked on The Dark Knight Rises, I believe.
Oh, sweet.
And there was no claim that there was no CGI in that movie, but like um, overall, like a lot of it was like, yeah, we do almost everything like practically, and they did, but they also added some stuff. But
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was definitely an experience, the whole Barbenheimer double feature. Did you do Barbie as well, or was it just Oppenheimer?
I did see Barbie, not a double feature.
Okay, you did it 2 different days.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the way to do it, I think.
Come on, man. What'd you think of Barbie?
It was not my cup of tea.
Oh, Michael.
Oh, Michael. Not his government name.
Yeah,
Wow.
I really admired the craft, and I thought the cinematography was beautiful.
Oh, the production design and
The
everything.
production design, incredible.
Through the roof.
Yeah. No, I didn't like it.
So so okay, you don't like it. Are you erring on the side of Ben Shapiro, calling it the biggest heaping pile of garbage he's ever seen?
I don't know if it's that extreme, but like I very firmly dislike it. I thought
Wow.
it was poorly written, and the plot in a lot of ways made no sense. And yeah, poorly written, plot made no sense.
Wow.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah. Wow. Well, we did a video just yesterday. We filmed a video reacting to 1-star letterbox reviews for Barbie.
Uh-huh.
Man, some of the stuff people say about this movie is
harsh.
It's wild. It's wild. You would
No.
think they have like a vendetta against Greta Gerwig or something. It's wild stuff.
Yeah, no, no vendetta on my part. I just,
For ya.
I just, thought it wasn't good.
Yeah, that's cool.
You're entitled to that.
All right, so that is the initial question. The next question's way more
don't you
fun. Way
check
more
the
fun.
Chat?
Huh?
Say hi to our chat first.
Well, let's do this question, then
Okay.
we'll go to the chat. We'll go to the chat after this question. All right, so here's a fun question. You and I both share a mutual admiration for the works of Mr. Kubrick. So, let's say you're in charge of compiling a box set of 3 of Kubrick's must-see films. What 3 are you selecting and why?
Okay, Paths of Glory, for one, because it's like, to me, it's the quintessential like war movie. Like what they were able to do in 1957
That sounds right. Yep.
is incredible. And like what blows my mind is like Kirk Douglas's acting like completely holds up today.
Yes.
Like you can put that scene, you can like roto out like Kirk Douglas and put him in a modern movie scene, like with all the modern lighting, bells and whistles, and the acting would completely like feel right. Versus in a lot of old movies, like acting might feel a little more stilted or whatnot, or they might talk a little bit louder than people talk in the real world.
Yep.
So it's just a beautiful film. 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Okay.
I mean that poster is like on the wall, like right in front of me right now. That is just a very like, it's a cerebral adventure about life and who we are and hypotheses of like what this universe is. None of which I subscribe to, but like it's just a very interesting film.
The first 20 minutes of Monkeys sold me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then number 3.
This is the interesting one. Number 3.
Dr. Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove.
Or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
I was gonna quiz him on what's the full title.
Oh, he would have got it. He would have got it. Yeah, he would have.
Yeah, I mean, I also have that poster. I have right now. I'm looking at Paths of Glory, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and Dr. Strangelove posters on my wall right now. So I had a little bit of a cheat sheet.
So those are the 3, and you've seen one of those 3, right? You've only seen 2001.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Strangelove is just a work of art. It's a work of art.
Yep. Yeah. Who was it that said it was Spielberg, right? Who said it's the greatest set that's ever been constructed? I think that's a quote from Spielberg.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
I think that's who did that. Chat room, let me know. Laren, I'm sure you're in here. Let me know. Is Spielberg the one who said the Dr. Strangelove war room? There's no fighting in the war room.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
He said it's the greatest set that's ever been constructed.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, you didn't pick Spartacus. That's all I care about.
Yeah, I did not.
So I love Paths of Glory. I own that in the collection. I have all of Kubrick's films. Definitely.
Even Spartacus.
Yeah, I'm not too big on Spartacus.
Well, yeah, you gotta.
That's the one that
have it.
That's the one that turned him against the whole Hollywood system.
Right.
We all know the story, and that's the one that sent him back to England, and he never looked back.
Yeah. What was the one before Paths of Glory?
Are you thinking of The Killing?
The Killing. That's the horse racing one, right?
Yeah, like the robbery. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another incredible one.
Where like spoilers at the end, like the suitcase opens up and the money goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh no, not a spoiler alert for a movie from like 1955.
Right. And Killer's Kiss as well. If you buy the Criterion edition, they package those together. So.
Oh yeah, I have seen that one.
Killer's Kiss, that like really neo-noir kind of boxing movie.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Really, in my opinion, even Spartacus isn't a weak link. It's just I just don't get on board with it. Like, it's so hard for me to get invested in the film.
Yeah.
When you know that the
But
director didn't care.
didn't even like it ultimately. But it's so amazing to watch. And even his very first one, Fear and Desire, is a really cool anti-war movie as well. It's just
that's right. I have seen that. That's the war movie. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
Just like the two guys. It's very, very low budget. I think we watched that one together. We watched so many Kubricks together through the years. Yeah, so those are the three: Pass of Glory, Doctor Strangelove, and 2001: A Space Odyssey.
What a triple feature.
How did you feel about Barbie paying homage at the beginning? Did you roll your eyes?
Confused. I mean, like, this is the film was marketed towards like mothers and their 8-year-old girls.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you doing that? Like, kids aren't going to understand that. So yeah, it was fine. It was good. You know,
it like didn't offend you or anything. Like, oh, don't do Kubrick like that. Come on.
No, it didn't offend me. I was just like, what? What's their target audience here?
Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's go over to the chat room, see who wants to say hello to us tonight, and then we'll continue on with the questions. Old faithful Adrian James. Hello there, fans of something. Hello, Adrian. Our good moderator, great friend of the channel, Laren. Hey, Ed, Haley, and Mike. Good evening to all of you.
No hi,
Laren.
Yeah, no hi to Felix. Come on, Laren.
He's in my lap right now.
Dean Cundy is the GOAT. He shot like half of my favorite films. All right, so this is a perfect segue. I'll start this so we don't lose track of the comments. But you got to actually stand next to, interact with, shake hands, take photos, get an autograph. Maybe? Did you get an autograph?
I didn't get an autograph. I didn't have anything for him to autograph. But
okay.
But I mean, most importantly, I learned from him.
Like, yes, yes. And in case anyone thinks we're calling bluff, there you go. There he is.
The man, the myth.
The man, the myth, the legend. What hasn't he what hasn't he filmed? He filmed, I'm pretty sure he filmed is it Click? I think he might have filmed Click. I know he filmed a couple Adam Sandler movies.
I think he did Click.
Jack and Jill, he did. He did Jack and Jill.
I think he did
sorry.
Not a Sandler film, but I think he did Garfield.
No.
Oh man. But on the other side of the spectrum, he's DP Jurassic Park. He DP'd Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Halloween, Halloween 2. Yep.
The Thing, right?
The Thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go, Laren.
Yeah, Laren's a big John Carpenter fan, so that's why he said half of my favorite films.
Yeah. So, and recently he's done some of The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett.
Oof.
All
right, so
how does this guy have time to do anything?
My first question: what does he smell like?
What
does he have? Does he have good cologne or
like old balls or
what? Old balls.
What does he smell like? Just I don't know. Like, we were in a studio, so there were lots of smelly people. So I don't know if I could. I'm kidding, but pretty neutral. Like, he didn't have. Yeah, no. Actually, no. He smelled good. He smelled fantastic.
Just in case Dean's watching.
Yeah, just in case he's watching. He the best smelling man ever.
All right. Now, the more important question: what was the the most important thing you took away from interacting with him?
It's hard to bottle that down. I mean, he's such like a calm presence. And I think like you could see that he's able to have like career longevity because he's always been like a calming presence on set that is able to figure things out and knows how to delegate and knows how to, you know, communicate with the crew and communicate like, you know, as cinematographer, you're somebody that like, you know, you can be talking all the way up to the executive producers, or you know, you can be communicating all the way down to the production assistants, and you like there's all that range of interactions that you may have, and it seems like he was able to navigate that like so beautifully, and you know, just by being like just a very solid dude that people want to collaborate with, and he's also hilarious. He's like one of the funniest guys ever. Like he has such a wonderful dry sense of humor.
So you clicked immediately.
Oh yeah, he was. He had one joke where somebody was asking him a question, and he was like, "Well, you know, in a scenario like that, that's something you have to run by the director, who we all know is inept." And then like you just said it with like a complete straight face, and everybody buzzed out laughing. And then he was like, "Well, you know, you're gonna come up with all these ideas, and then the director is gonna take credit for it." And you know, like he was obviously joking, but like
he has a point though. He has a point. He has
yeah.
a point.
Well, like he a little bit later on, like because he made a couple other like director jokes. A little later on, he was like, you know, you guys, you know, just hear me kind of ragging on directors, but I have worked with some pretty good ones. Spielberg.
Oh yeah, that guy. We've heard of him.
Zemeckis. Yeah. So
Awesome.
So wait, what did you work with him on?
Yeah, like why were you there? Why were you there?
It was a 4-day workshop on virtual production, which is like shooting on a like LED volume, which is like a up and coming like mode of production right now. So he's worked on that on some of the Mandalorian stuff that he shot. So it was a 4-day masterclass taught by the ASC, the American Society of Cinematographers in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Amazing.
Amazing this guy has time to do that.
Well, he's actually like over the last few years has gone very selective over his projects. So like he doesn't necessarily like work like a crazy amount, as like there were some other cinematographers there that were like equally as incredible. So like David Klein, who has shot like he's like the main shooter, he's the main cinematographer on The Mandalorian now. He shoots like the majority of the episodes, and like he is like crazy busy. You know, he was on like 3 different shows at the same time. So
yeah,
wow.
That's that's the thing on, you know, unfortunately you have to, you know, to become a prolific cinematographer, unfortunately the movie has to be like the movies you do, they have to kind of become what they become. You know what I mean? Like we know Dean Cundy because he worked on Jurassic Park, Back to the Future 1, 2, 3, Halloween, all these iconic movies that are just a part of the pop culture. You walk up to someone on the street and you say Halloween, they know what you're talking about.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's associated to that. That's the thing when it comes to, you know, because there's so many, like you just said, what's his name? David Klein.
Yeah.
Never heard of him in my life.
Right. Yeah. He's great. He's a heavy hitter.
See, but it's just because like, and he's a part of the thing, but he's a part of the Mandalorian, which I assume has many cinematographers, right? Many different kind of people that work on it. It's not one person all season long.
No, but it's like, I mean, the most recent season, it was 2. It was David Klein and Dean Cundy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's one of the things I think that, you know, and that applies to composers as well. you know, we only know famous composers because they worked on famous scores to famous super iconic movies.
Yeah,
there's so
that's
many
true.
there's so many composers that we have no clue who they are, and they've done amazing work, and they just haven't found that project that takes off, you know.
Sure.
But back to the director thing, that is really unfortunate, because I totally agree where, you know, someone will say, yeah, you know, Spielberg knocked it out of the park with Jurassic Park, you know, like those shots of the T-Rex and everything. Like, how did he come up with that?
Right.
And it's just like, you do know, yes, he is directed by Steven Spielberg, but man,
Who do you think is behind the camera?
it is such a collaborative effort.
Yeah, it's a team sport.
You know, and I know, like, right now there's a lot of talk about trying to get more notice of stunt performers. You know, like, they feel like they don't get enough recognition. You know, they don't even have a category at the Oscars, like best stunt performance. So that's the unfortunate thing about it. As time goes on, I think it'll become a little, you know, more open to people understanding that, you know, there's so many people you have no clue, because everyone leaves. We don't, but everyone leaves at the end of the movie. Everybody leaves when those credits start rolling, and and everyone's out of the theater before you get to the long list. they might sit there for the big names that pop up, but then when you get to that scroll, everybody's out.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, you know, yeah, it is nice to receive recognition, but, like, you know, we're all part of, like, making the movie successful, and, like, if it is, then, like, we know that we played a part in that, and that should, I feel like that should be enough. So it is nice to get that recognition, but, like, you know, if you want it, then try to become a prolific director.
Yeah. But yeah, Dean Cundy, he probably doesn't have to work another day in his life.
No.
Honestly, you know,
Yeah.
he's set, I would assume. Laren, this movie should just be called Hello. Back to Private Color. Hello. Yeah, Laren, that was a tough script. Like, when Mike handed it to me, I was like, dude, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know if I have the range.
Yeah, you're pushing boundaries.
Yeah, because just going back to that really quickly, did we ever, you and I, did we ever have an answer of who is opening that door?
Nope. But it's open to interpretation.
It's open to interpretation, but so many people would tell you that's rule number 101 of screenwriting. Maybe the audience doesn't know, but you should at least know who's opening that door.
Well, good thing I didn't become a screenwriter.
No, right. No, because there's a channel I watch. His name's Dave McRae. He's been on the channel, and he'll be back on. But he's like big into the Halloween movie talk. And between episodes 4 and 5, so Halloween 4 and Halloween 5, there was a big plot twist that happened at the end of 4. And the filmmakers were asked, do you know who it is, why it's happening? And their basic response was, paraphrasing, but that's for the people who do 5.
Nice.
That's for the people to figure out that make 5. So that's what that kind of felt like to me, where it's just like, we did this and we didn't even know who the hell is opening the door.
Yeah, but, like, we also, like, just I think we decided to shoot that film, like, that evening. Like, we're let's make something, like, you know, what can we come up with real quick.
Ultimately, what that was just like you being able to test out a new form of a camera you might have had at that time. Like, do you remember what that was that you were filming on?
It was, so I had that camera with me from, like, TV production, because I was, like, filming a sports event. It was like a football game, and then I brought it home with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, hey, I have this thing here. Like, let's just shoot something with it.
Yep.
Because the camera I had at home, the one we did the other film with, Short Temper, was just like a little handy cam type thing. So, like, this one, like, for camera standards, was still a not good camera, but it was at least, like, had, like, a real lens.
Yeah, no, It was, yeah, like it kind of looked like maybe one of the cameras they used to film the Blair Witch Project. Like one of those things. Obviously much more up to date, but kind of one of those like size, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like in the freaking thumbnail that is on the video today, like the camera that you're sitting behind on, like it was nowhere near that size.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, those were fun. Those were fun. And then there's another one that you did to enter a contest. It was called Summer in St. Augustine.
Yeah.
And that was basically just
Summer in St. Augustine.
Yeah, like I was in it. My then girlfriend at the time was in it as well, Leanna. And it was just basically to help you out because you wanted to enter the contest and you needed to get establishing shots, right? Of St. Augustine is where you decided to film it.
Yeah, you just wanted to capture the flavor of a particular like city during the summer and weave in like a very loose narrative.
Very loose. Yeah. It's just basically me walking through St. Augustine. Leanna being very contemplative at Flagler College. And then at some point we just meet up at the bridge. And then there's an incredible ending shot because you filmed, like I remember this was after we wrapped production, her and I. You went back to St. Augustine to get like other shots, and you got a really beautiful shot at the very end of like birds flying flying by, and it's like a big, like, what are those called? Herds? Like flocks? Sure, there you go. Yeah. A flock of birds goes by, and then one little straggler. Trying to catch up to the flock. It's so
right
cool.
Over the water at sunrise.
Yeah, it was really cool. And like I said, that was to enter a competition, and you did hear back from them, right?
Yeah, I didn't win.
You didn't win, but you heard back from them. They were impressed with what they saw.
I guess so. Yeah.
Do you still follow them? Do you still follow that particular?
They kind of fell off the map, so I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so long ago.
Huh. Yeah, that was so long ago. That was my first car, Toyota Corolla. We filmed in the Corolla.
Ah.
I just remember we were driving and Mike was in the passenger seat and I would drive and he would film me. And then he'd be like, all right, now turn around and we're going to go the other way. And just all the gas that I expended just driving around so Mike could get, because I don't know if you've loosened up or anything, but even 10 years ago, man, you were like, you know what I mean? You knew what you wanted. You weren't afraid to be like, let's do it again kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's still very much how I approach like the filmmaking process.
Good. Yeah, man.
So. However many takes
it takes.
Well, it's not necessarily like, as a cinematographer now, it's not my decision. But like, in the lead up to it, like the shot is going to be, as I'm setting it up with my crew, like we're going to get it to like mostly how I want it. Like I won't, I always like to say like, we want to get this like, 95% like what I want shot that keeps us shooting and keeps the momentum going on set is better than a 100% exactly what I wanted, but like brings the production to a grinding halt and you lose the momentum and you lose the magic. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, man. Tony, hello, Tony.
Hello, Tony's Meatloaf.
Yeah, Meatloaf, Tony. All right, here we go. Laren says great reel, and then he follows up with my other favorites include Bill Pope, Robert Richardson, Robert Elswit, and I'll throw Deakins in for good measure. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, all those guys are fantastic. My particular favorites would be Greg Fraser, who shot The Batman. He shot Dune. He shot Rogue One. He shot a film that not a whole lot of people know about. It's called Lion. It's amazing, really incredible. He shot Killing Them Softly. He's just a really incredible cinematographer.
Is Lion the guy from Slumdog Millionaire, Dev Patel?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
Really good.
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
I actually saw that with my mom in theaters. Now that I think
Oh,
about
did
it.
you? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Great film.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the movie I looked at and I was like, I'd like to shoot something like that, you know? But yeah, Greg Fraser, incredible. And then my other, you know, one of my other favorites that I can think of right now is Jeff Cronenweth.
Okay.
He used to be David Fincher's main cinematographer, and he shot The Social Network, Fight Club, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. What else? Gone Girl. I love his style, and you know, I followed his work and analyzed his work quite a bit. So he's incredible.
Yep. Devil's Dan. Hello, Devil's Den, not Dan. Who are some of Mike's influences? What's his opinion of Caleb Deschanel, one of my favorites?
I met Caleb Deschanel at my LA masterclass. He stopped in and like he was just like spewing wisdom. So like he just like came in out of the blue. One of the visual effects supervisors that he's friends with and works with a lot was teaching that day. His name is Rob Legato, and he was the visual effects supervisor of the Titanic, which you know I'm sure you're aware. Like, just has the visual effects in that movie are just mind blowing. How well like they hold up today.
Yeah.
Really in any filmmaking generation. So he's a visual effects genius, and so Caleb Deschanel shot The Lion King and like the live action Lion King, which looks just so good. There's Jungle Book, which he shot, and like he's also shot The Patriot, which is like one of my favorite movies of all time. Passion of the Christ, incredible movie, and yeah, Caleb is outstanding. He's a super chill guy, and love his work. For my influences, I'd say Cronenweth for sure. Like Jeff Cronenweth, I look at a lot of his setups, and just like to see how he approaches light and darkness. And like he's one of my favorites. And he's one of the people that I try to model my work after. And another one would be Bradford Young.
Okay.
Yeah, incredible cinematographer. You know, in particular, like his work in Arrival is pretty incredible.
Now, is it the same kind of I don't know what the word is, but like how there's not that, you know, unfortunately, because it is a very much male dominated industry. When you think of directors, it's so hard to like come up with like a 10 to like a 10 female directors, right? It's kind of hard to do that. Like you have to think about it. Is it the same with cinematographers, or is there a lot of female cinematographers that just unfortunately aren't prolific right now?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is yes. There's not a lot. There are some that are great. Like Rachel Morrison is fantastic. I think she might be switching to directing
Okay.
more, but she was an incredible cinematographer. And then I can't pronounce her name, but she shot Quiet Place.
Oh wow.
Yeah, or Charlotte. I can't pronounce her last name, but like she's incredible. But yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not abundantly common.
Yeah. That sucks, man.
Sucks.
It really does suck.
Sucks.
You got to change it. You got to change it. She's going into animation.
Mhm,
That's what she goes to school for. She goes to SCAD.
mhm. Oh, I mean, it seems to be like changing right now. Like it's not where it's you know needs to be, but it's like it's trend. There's
Getting there.
yeah, it's getting there.
Mikey, what's going on, Mikey? Nothing like some male bonding over Batman.
Batman and the Before trilogy.
I was gonna say the Before trilogy is really where it's at, Mikey. Have I shown you those as well, Mikey? Like, see, that's the thing. I when I show people movies, I tend to forget because I try to be like, oh man, you really need to see the Before trilogy.
I
forget who I tell that to.
You were pretty adamant that I watch it.
And you enjoyed them at least, right?
Yeah. I think they're great films.
Yeah.
Hold on, Felix isn't in the fireplace.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Back to the Future and the Lord of the Rings trilogy are two of my favorites, says Adrian.
In terms of trilogy.
Yeah. Laren says maybe skip Toy Story 4.
Okay, I'd be happy to, because I think they really should have ended it at 3. So I thought it was the perfect send off.
Right. What was that? Okay. Favorite screenwriters.
Ooh, I say ooh because I don't know all that many. Damien Chazelle is pretty good.
He's good.
Yeah. A lot of it is like the writer directors, like Nolan, of course. Nolan's brother Jonathan is a very good writer too. Jonathan Nolan.
Yeah, he hasn't worked with him lately, has he? Though
no.
It seems like Chris has gone off on his own.
Yeah,
that's weird. I wonder if there was like some
falling
out or.
Well, Jonathan was working on a lot of TV, so he might just be crazy busy. Well, not right now because they're all striking, but but
hey, you know what? I'm gonna star this comment because that's a perfect segue. That was a question I was going to ask you. About thoughts on the current strikes?
It's really an interesting time in the film industry, and it's interesting how it's all going to shake out because, like, yes, we all want writers to get paid enough to make a living, and a lot of them do and a lot of them don't, and like I think there's a misconception with actors that like they're all like rich. Like most of them don't make much money at all. It's like the ones you hear about, but like that's like the big leagues. Like
go ahead, Tom Cruise.
Yeah, the Tom Cruises of the world, like they're making gaboons of cash, but some of the other ones and like folks in indie movies that end up being successful and things of that sort. Like actors do have a rough life. So that being said, everybody. So I mean, there's a couple aspects to it. There's the monetary side of it, which is huge, and then there's the AI side of it. So both are valid. On the money side of things, everybody seems to be asking and wanting money that doesn't exist because the streaming services, they don't make a whole lot of profit off of the shows that they make. So people are throwing out numbers like the revenue of streaming services, but that's not their profit. Like they're having to spend a lot of money on making the shows. So they're at a point where, like, I mean, this is a problem that the music industry faced like way back when streaming became a thing and nobody was buying CDs. And artists were trying to figure out how to make money when they're not selling CDs, and they didn't figure it out. Nobody figured out, so they just have to constantly be touring to make their money. Yeah, with film, back in the day, a film would make half of its money off DVD sales. But now a person pays $12 a month and they have access to all the films over several different platforms. That licensing fee is not equating to the amount of money they'd make off the DVD sales and rentals from iTunes and things of that sort. So like Netflix, I'm not sure. They might be profiting a little bit. I know Disney Plus, like they lose a lot of money on their shows. Amazon, they lose a lot of money on their shows, but it drives people to their the merchandise and all the other things that they're making. So I'm not 100% caught up on all the finances, but I know as an industry overall, like everybody's trying to figure out how to make this profitable. And ironically, I mean, I was in LA talking to a couple producers about this too, and this was before the actor strike started. And some folks were a little frustrated with the writers because they thought the writers were digging their heels in too deep. But at the same time, studios aren't budging like one bit. So part of it is like shows just probably aren't getting as much viewership as they're not getting the viewership that they want to. They don't want people knowing the viewership that they're getting. That's one hypothesis, because if they were to release that information, the stock price is going to plummet for these companies, and then they're going to really have to downsize the amount of production that they're doing. So that's a whole other added variable to it, because the studios might have enough money to just end this so they could, get back to shooting, like, because nothing is being worked on right now. But that could be putting a Band-Aid on a cut off arm.
Yeah.
So there's a whole big financial variable that nobody is quite able to figure out. And there's certainly corporate greed going on, but there's also like industry-wide, issue of how do you make this profitable? Ironically, it might come down to more ad-based models, which is just broadcast all over again.
Right.
So like you could have $15 a month Netflix with ads, and then if you want to have the ad-free version, they might make it like 50 or 60 or 80 bucks a month, something ridiculous.
Wow.
And then it's back to
talk about that. I've heard social media talks about like an ad-based streaming service and people being like all up in arms for like, I mean, reasonably so. Like, do you want to, like, you go to streaming because you don't want to watch TV commercials? So, like, I get it in that aspect, but I also get it from like the revenue.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want the commercials, but we also dealt with the commercials for years and years and years, and
Right.
like that's kind of like, it sucks, but it works. And what now? It doesn't suck, but it doesn't work.
Oh man, it's the old adage: you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah. So there's probably forces at work here that I don't understand at all. This is my understanding of it, which could be wrong. I kind of don't think it is, or at least I think it's directionally accurate. But the money thing is an issue across the whole industry.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're way more qualified to speak on it, so that's why I was like, let's ask him that. Anything you want to add? No. All right, moving on. We got this is a fun one. 5 underrated gems we should all see.
5
or 3, whatever.
Oh,
3, 2, 1. Yeah, we had one guest. Just give us one.
Yeah, 5 underrated gems. Good question. Let me underrated.
Do you have a letterbox, or are you on letterbox?
No, I probably should. I see a lot of people have that.
That's cool.
Well, we already talked about it a little bit, but Lion, I think, is incredibly underrated.
I think, yeah, no one mentions Lion.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
that's a really good one. This will be an interesting answer. Pacific Rim.
Ooh, okay.
I think it's a lot better than people give it credit for.
Yeah, that one's kind of like trashed on.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Guillermo del Toro is a producer on that. I think he is.
He's involved
yeah.
with it in some way.
I just remember seeing posters from Guillermo del Toro. He definitely
Yeah.
didn't direct it, so I think he's a producer.
Mhm.
All right, so we got
I love
Lion, Pacific Rim,
artificial intelligence.
AI, artificial intelligence, Steven Spielberg. Yes.
So
Yeah.
Stevie.
Yes.
Really underrated.
Highly agree.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, and timely, more timely than ever.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So that's 3. You got 2 more, or do you just want to sit with 3?
Oh man.
You go further back, like go like to the 50s, the 40s, 30s.
20s.
Yes. Okay. I would say underrated. What's the Hitchcock one? Strangers on a Train.
Okay.
Yeah.
Strangers
Incredible film that, like, when you think Hitchcock, you're gonna think like, you know,
Psycho.
Rear Window, Psycho, you know, Vertigo. But Strangers on a Train, one of his best.
Okay.
Wow.
That's in the Criterion, right? The Criterion Collection.
I can't think off the top of my head.
Do you
no.
do you hold a lot of stock in the Criterion Collection? Like, you've obviously heard of the Criterion Collection.
Yeah.
Do you like do you hold it to a high regard? Do you care about it?
Not really. As I've gotten, like, I guess older, I'm not old, but as I've gotten older and like been in the industry more, I care a lot less about what is like technically critically acclaimed. And I'm very much like a film appreciator, and but I kind of got to the realization that like a lot of things that like are said to be like some of the greatest movies of all time, like they're boring.
Boring.
Like they're just boring. And at least to me, you know, some people really love them. So
that was you with Parasite.
That was me with Parasite. Well, I don't do subtitles. I don't like subtitles.
Oh, I have one more. It's a recent film in theaters now. It's called Sound of Freedom.
Yeah, I saw you post about that. That's what is Jim Caviezel.
Yeah, and it's a, you know, it's a film about it's a true story about a man that like quit his job as a federal agent to go save children in South America from like child sex slavery. True story. Incredible film, like brilliantly made, like impeccably made. Like not a single bad performance in the whole film. The child acting was so good.
Terrible time to be released, considering everybody's only going to see.
Well, I feel like it was out like a week or 2 before Barbie, and
yeah, it released like a few weeks ago, and so the budget was like, they say it was around 15 million, and now it's made 125 million.
Yeah.
So it's actually like a huge hit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I saw the poster for it, so I was like, oh damn, there's that movie Mike posted about.
Oh, it's incredible. Like I'd suggest seeing that in theaters and supporting that film, and it's just so good. Like the craft, the story, the acting.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Good. 5. We got 5.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think you're the first to actually give us 5.
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
You earned this. All right. Cut that shit out. All right. Favorite project you've worked on?
Favorite project I've worked on. I shot like a long short film in 20. I shot a medium film in 2019. It released in like 2021, called White Fire, and it was about a a 13-year-old boy's year-long battle with a very rare form of bone cancer. And it was just a really meaningful film to be a part of, and to a wonderful opportunity and blessing to be able to shoot that and just kind of like tell such an emotional story, and like kind of in a way like try to tell a hopeful story. Like it's about it sounds weird saying that it's hopeful, but like there is like in the midst of that darkness, like it's showing that there is light. And yeah, it's called White Fire.
Right here.
Are you pulling up the? Oh, I would pull up the trailer.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, here, pull it up. White Fire.
More of just like a what's on there is more of like a sizzle reel from the cinematographer. It's the second one.
Okay.
Hey, Jake.
Yeah. There's something we need to tell you, sweetie.
The doctor called us tonight and said that there's a chance that there might be cancer in your leg. Your mom and I are going to be there with you the whole time. And you won't feel a thing.
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, we're going to be okay.
And where is it? Like, is it streaming somewhere, or?
It is streaming somewhere. I don't remember where. It's
Oh, come on.
It might be on Amazon. I don't know. It's what I think whitefirefilm.com is the website. It might have links to the streaming.
Okay, sweet. So there we go. That's the favorite project that you worked on, White Fire.
Yeah.
All right, this one is heavy, man. You ready for some heaviness?
Yeah.
What do you want your legacy to be?
You want to be remembered for?
I want to work on just important, poignant, like hopeful films that tell stories that need to be told and aren't just like for cash grabbing, like things that are representative, that things that represent just the battle of darkness versus light, this good versus evil. And like I'm not a big, like, as I've grown, I'm not a big fan of like a lot of the gray area, the murky kind of films like that show that everything is 100% depravity. So like I think there's beauty in the world, and I want to tell stories about like people that are helping pursue that.
So something like Sound of Freedom. That's why you related so much to it.
Exactly. Like a film like that would be,
you want to be associated with.
I would love to make films that just tell important stories that can bring hope to people.
Which is ironic. Which is ironic that you are such a fan of Kubrick, because he's known for being very bleak and Spielberg
actually has a take on Kubrick where is really interesting. You should read it. Like he says there's actually a lot more hope in Kubrick films than like he gets credit for.
Do you agree?
How can you disagree with Spielberg? Yeah, I mean, yes, you're correct. I think, yeah, I mean, things that I like and appreciate isn't necessarily what I want to do, and it's
Yeah.
also not necessarily of how I see the world. It's
Yeah.
just, it's intriguing, and I'm open to exploring those, but it's not what I believe. So, yeah, and I think like tangentially to that, like something like a Star Wars, or just the way you know, I guess projects that are wholesome, like J.J. Abrams, like Super 8, incredible film. One of my favorites. Like it's just very wholesome, and like it has that childlike like charm and innocence and fun while still being like, you know, just not a cheesy movie. It's good. So
Ironically, with Spielberg as a producer on that one.
yeah, I mean, most of Spielberg's films end up in that camp for me.
Yeah.
So I've learned to love them and appreciate them like so much more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that Star Wars, like all these things are to me like, directionally the stories that I'd like to be a part of telling.
And then this one I will let you ask, but this is the last question. This one I did take from the lovely television program Inside the Actors Studio with James Lipton as the host. Here you go.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
So for context, every actor that James Lipton interviewed, he asked them 10 questions. And then at the very end, this was the last question he asked every actor.
I think he would tell me to turn around.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a man of faith, so like I 100% believe that heaven exists, and I, what do you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates? Yeah, I don't think it's like pearly gates, but I would like to hear God tell me, "Well done, good and faithful servant." Um, you know, that's my overall. That is my goal in life.
There we go.
What a question. I'm still trying to process
You're
it.
still trying to wrap around. I'm telling you, like he asked Johnny Depp that. He asked Robin Williams that. Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Anyone that ever appeared on the program, that's the last question he always asked. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates? All right, let's go to these last few comments here, and then we will wrap everything up with Mike Kozlenko. Let me think. Okay, here we go. Speaking of Cundy, I'm wondering what Mike's favorite Carpenter film is. If it's The Thing, can I get a couple more?
Yeah, it's The Thing.
Okay. Can you get a couple more?
Halloween.
Couple more Carpenters. Oh, Halloween. Wow.
Yeah.
Aaron, be honest, there wasn't a segue for that question. You just wanted
You just wanted to hear him say The Thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
I'd
wanna-
say outside of that, Halloween.
You just want to phrase it a different way to ask somebody with their favorite Carpenter film. I know.
Yeah. No, The Thing is outstanding.
Let's see here. Can we look forward to Mike throwing his childhood bud a bone as a cameo or walk on in as a major? Come on, man. Don't forget about the little people.
We can 100% arrange that. Yes. Now if I'm working on something that is like ends up being like a passion project or more of a thing that's like, I'm not making a whole lot of money on, so like, if I'm if it's a more if it's like a studio film, like there's gonna be like a casting director and all this stuff. Now, if we need extras, I could, I have some pull where I could be like, hey, this is my buddy. He's outstanding. Watch Private Caller.
That no one else says hello better than this guy.
Yeah. And he'd be perfect for this. Like if you need like a featured extra in the background to say like one line, like hello or something. But like, yeah, there's always opportunities to come be on set. And so like I work on a lot of passion projects. Like I'm probably going to be trying to pursue like some short films here shortly, just to scratch the creative itch after doing so many commercials lately. So I'm always working on some passion project, and I have me and one of my close director friends, Corey. We are starting to kind of get the ball rolling on a couple like feature films that we'd like to pitch. So like on and in films like that, like where I might be the DP, but I also might very well be an executive producer.
Okay.
Like, because I love the whole filmmaking process, and like camera is where I want to be, but like I'm too much of a big picture guy, like to only be there. So like, there are some aspirations to like if I'm shooting something, I want to have some sort of stake in the project as well.
Gotcha.
Because like I want the whole project to be successful. So I don't want to just show up, get the shots we need and go home. So yeah, in a scenario like that, like some of these future things that are in the works, like it could be 2 years or it could be 10 years from now. But yeah, we'll get you in there.
Thanks, Devil's Den. I have no idea who you are, but I appreciate you asking if he'll throw me a bone. Let's see here. Thanks for the response, Mike. You have an outstanding future.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh boy, look who's here. Look who's here.
Oh my gosh. What's up, Ed?
Hi, Ed Haley. He spelled that completely wrong.
Yeah.
And Mike.
He tried.
Oh, that's amazing.
Hi, Ed. Hi, Joe. Oh God, how do they know? I don't know. Who? Devil's Den. You must have some kind of connection that I don't know. Let's see here. I have not seen the Before trilogy yet, but I'd be absolutely down. It's a phenomenal trilogy. That's all I got to say. Good.
Yeah, it's good.
Here's a good one. What's Mike's take on Angel Studios and the faith-based movies coming out of there?
I love what they're doing. They're doing some really good work. So did they work on American Underdog? That's a really like incredible film. I don't know if they worked on that, but they worked on like they're mainly responsible. Their main claim to fame is a show called The Chosen, which is like a TV show about like the life of Jesus, and it's entirely crowdfunded, and it's it's objectively like a incredible show that like people that like believe and people that don't believe all like equally say the same thing, like that it's really good. It's like most faith-based stuff traditionally has been very cheesy and like quite unwatchable and oftentimes cringeworthy. And The Chosen started something where it's like, holy cow, like this is cool. Like you can see this, like it is on Netflix now, but like before it was on Netflix, it was like, oh, is this like a Netflix show? Like they're approaching this with a cinematic point of view, and like the acting isn't like most of the time it's not like overdone, and it's giving like more of a platform for like faith-based films to be told, or faith-based stories to be told in ways that like aren't cheesy, that would traditionally turn people off. But like there's some, like incredible biblical stories out there that are that have inspired like dozens and dozens, hundreds and hundreds of films. Like, you know, most of the films that we love like have some sort of like underlying biblical theme to it. It truly does, if you examine it. And like, you know, the Bible has a lot of incredible stories for, you know, whether people believe or not, Angel Studios is giving a platform for incredible films to be made. So they're doing great work. I don't know if all of the stuff that like they're doing is awesome, but lately a lot of it is. So Sound of Freedom was initially a 20th Century Fox movie, and then it became Disney, and then Disney sold it to Angel Studios, who inherited it. So yeah, Sound of Freedom ended up being an Angel Studios production. It's very good. So I think the future is very bright for that side of the industry.
I think a lot of the times, not all the time, but what tends to happen is with faith-based media, they tend to focus more on the message or like
Sure.
the preaching that they're trying to give rather than actually making
Right.
a good film. Like
Right.
it's more like it's like you can have both. Like if you actually like try, like I mean, The Passion of the Christ, right? Like that's a quick one to go to. That's a message, like, you know, it's about Jesus, and then but it's phenomenally shot, acted, and everything. So it's like
Right.
I even as somebody who's not entirely like religious or anything, if I love that film. If you actually like put your time, you know, effort into it rather than just trying to get your message across, you can make some pretty darn good stuff.
Oh, 100%. I completely agree. Like that's traditionally like where like that sect of the industry like has gone is like overly preachy, and like The Chosen kind of created like it was like a huge paradigm shift in faith-based media. And like when you watch that show, it's not cheesy. Like it's really well done, and like it's incredible. And that started like because of that. You know, things like American Underdog were made. There's another incredible movie called Jesus Revolution, which was about like the hippie culture in the 70s, how a lot of people like became like switched from being um, like uh, hippies that like did a lot of drugs to Christians back in the 70s. And you know, I don't think that's an Angel Studios film, but like another faith-based piece of content. And then Sound of Freedom. So they're all primarily focused on the story, and that's what I think every film should be.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Laren, thank you. Del Toro did direct Pacific Rim. People always forget that.
I guess.
Oh, I don't know if I even knew that.
Yeah, it just seems like a weird thing for him, I guess, to do.
I guess.
Kudos, Mike, on your Sound of Freedom critique. Fully agree. This person just really loves you. It's trailers like these that remind me how much of an art trailer making is all by itself.
Now all you need is the coming soon.
Coming soon to a theater near you. Definitely going far in the film industry. People want and need to feel hope, positiveness in a dour world. Best of luck, Mike.
Oh, thank you. Really appreciate that.
Oh, okay. You're welcome. Uncle Brian. It's my Uncle Brian. Wow. Okay. There we go. It makes sense now. Hello, Uncle Brian. I'm sure my father probably pointed you in the direction of this channel. Awesome. Well, dude, that's we've reached the end of the chat, so we're gonna just wrap it up here because we've gone for an hour 45.
Wow.
So that's where we kind of like to keep it anyway. Laren, this has been so fun for me as a film nerd. Thanks, fans of something, and Mike for making my Monday. Please have Mike again sometime.
Thanks, Laren.
I'll have Mike again when he has me on a film set.
So it could be 2 years, could be 10 years.
Could be 2 years, could be 10 years.
We're still doing it.
Yeah.
But no, dude, look, I mean, I admire what you're doing. I love what you're doing. I'm a big fan, obviously, of the industry. So I have to be a fan of what you're doing because you're doing it. And anytime we get together, it's always good catching up. I think the last time was around the Christmas time, 2022. So
Yeah.
we gotta maybe get together, this Christmas. I don't know if you're ever in Savannah at all. Do you ever come to
Maybe.
Savannah?
Maybe. I haven't quite yet, but how far is Atlanta from Savannah?
About 3 hours.
Okay.
3 hours north of us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So,
But
I mean, 'cause
Savannah is a big. Sorry.
I could see myself like ending up in Atlanta for a shoot here or there.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe Savannah. I don't know. I go all over the place. I mean, I just got back from Detroit.
Yeah.
So I've been to most major cities.
Yeah. Well, Savannah's pretty up and coming in terms of the film industry.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Yeah, they were just Clint Eastwood was filming his new movie here that got shut down. Juror number 2.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's awesome. He's still directing?
He's still directing
He's
it,
still
and
alive?
and I don't know if he's still here, but he was here in Savannah. It was like making headlines. It's like Clint Eastwood spotted.
Oh, jeepers.
Now, if only he came into our Starbucks.
But now I said what
Right.
the really sad thing would be if he were to pass away during this strike,
Right.
and it was because of the strike that he didn't complete his final film.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could see something like that happening, unfortunately.
I don't know how these directors are able to do it to such an old age. Like, I mean, Scorsese is still kicking, and it's like, wow.
Yeah,
that
Flowers
is
of the
just-
Killer Moon,
Yeah.
dude.
That is
Flowers of the Killer
impressive.
Moon.
Got
That
all
is
these
impressive.
movies with these titles that I couldn't remember even if you paid me.
Are you hyped for that one? Flowers of the Killer Moon?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, dude, Leo looks weird. We watched
he does.
Chubby.
We watched the trailer. I was like, Leo, good
Yeah.
Lord. And De Niro looks great.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But all right, I'm gonna make you big, like full screen.
Okay.
This is sort of like your last
Tell all.
just tell us like what's coming up that we can look forward to and all that stuff.
What's coming up that you guys can look forward to? I guess a lot of the things I work on are like commercials that are usually like show up on your YouTube videos. And you're like, skip.
I don't even see them. I have ad blocker.
Oh, great. But and that's what I'm doing right now that pays the bills and can be sometimes creatively fulfilling and sometimes not. But I think recently I've just been trying to think about shifting towards a more narrative career, and I don't know what that means, what that exactly looks like, but like that is I'm trying to tune my brain towards like thinking of it in that way, that's what I want to do, and seeking out those opportunities. So there's a couple films that I am like talking to with a couple directors that we'd like to develop one day that I can't talk about, but might be working on some movies that could end up on streaming, maybe a theater. It could happen in a year, could happen in 5 years. So in the meantime, I'm just going to be working on commercials and shooting short films. I'm going to be getting into that, so I'll be constantly sharing. I constantly share like some of the things that I work on my Instagram. So that's the best place for folks to see what I'm working on.
Yep, and that's linked down below, as well as your website, your reel, and then what was that other thing you sent me? You sent me another Vimeo link.
Oh yes, yeah. Real quick, like one of the things that I've been like passionate about diving into in the film industry is virtual production, which is the use of LED screens, and it's practically a green screen replacement. There's challenges to it, but it allows you to project a location. Say you want to film in the desert, you project the desert onto like a huge TV screen, and you put your actors in front of it, and then when the camera moves, like you pan one way or the other, like the environment on the screen moves, so it's like a full immersive like backdrop.
That's what the Mandalorian uses, right?
Exactly. So they pioneered it, and it's becoming a lot more common, and it's a mode of production that I'm passionate about, like delving into, because it could be something that makes sense for a lot of productions. You can have a 12-hour sunset pretty much. You don't have to rush through all these things. Or if you have limited time on set with a child actor and you want to get them in 3 different locations, you can easily pop through them, or not so easily pop through them. But
Yeah.
So
is that what Barbie utilized when they would like leave Barbie land to enter the real world? Remember those montages? Is that similar to what was used?
Yeah, they used that.
Oh wow.
There was also like a sort of treadmill thing that they were doing.
Yeah, there was like a treadmill. I saw like behind the scenes of them on the set, and like the thing would just keep going around, like on a treadmill kind of thing. Like shrubbery or whatever would just go around, come back, or come back.
Yeah,
it looked very old school. But then talking to you, I was like, maybe they were utilizing the LED stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure with that particular scene. I know that they did use some. It's called virtual production. So they did use some of that, and a lot of like the most recent Batman movie was shot in virtual production.
Cool.
So it's just a really cool technique.
It's the future, man. It's the future.
Yeah.
So long are the days. So long gone are the days of, and this is bringing it full circle, man. Duel. So long are the days of a guy at 20 some odd years old literally filming his entire movie on a highway, shutting it down, and just going back and forth on the same highway to get his shots, and having like a week to film the movie. Like, that blows my mind. It never ceases to blow my mind that Spielberg did that at 20. I think he was 2021 when he filmed Duel.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, and you look at that movie and it's all practical. Like, they wanted to film in studios. They wanted to film on the, in front of the little rear view projecting and thing, and shake the car.
Rear projection, yeah.
Yeah, and they wanted to shake the car and everything. And Spielberg was like, no, on location. And it's now 2023. Look at where we are. And it's going to become incredibly hard to decipher at some point. Maybe it's already there, that we're not on location. We're in a studio, and it 100% looks like we are on location.
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, there's going to be some scenarios that are always going to require location, but for the ones that don't, like, it's going to be an incredible like hack, because you don't have to, if you want to shoot in a really beautiful landscape in New Zealand, like, getting a whole crew, flying out a whole crew over there, and like getting 4 to 5 big semi trucks worth of stuff over there, and then you get rained out, or then like the actors are in an emotional scene and then a plane flies over. Like being able to have that control, like in certain scenarios, is going to be just a great way to make your film.
Heck yeah, man. Awesome, dude. Thank you, Uncle Brian. Subbed. You guys are great. Appreciate it. Laren, have a great night.
Bye, Laren.
Eric, hi, all. Haley is best. Okay, Eric.
Thank you.
Haley's best.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good.
And on that note,
I agree, but all right. So we'll be back, everybody. Thanks, dude, for hanging out. Stick around. We're going to do a formal goodbye once the stream's over, but this was a lot of fun. I knew it was going to be super easy to just talk to you, because it's not like I haven't done that a billion times before. Some of these ones I get a little nervous for, but this one was like, it's Mike. It's Mike. It's my bud Mike.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
I hope I never lose that. I hope I never lose that feeling. Like, if you do become a Nolan, I hope I don't ever go, oh my God, I'm talking to Mike. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, bro.
But everybody, thank you for tuning in live. If you watched live, if you're watching on the replay, I appreciate you watching the replay. And Caveman coming in right at the clutch, at the buzzer. Hey there, everyone, and these great hosts and guests. Well, hello, Caveman. You caught the tail end of the show. So once it's over, go back and restart it and watch from the beginning.
Thanks, Caveman.
Yeah. We'll be back again this week with some stuff, trying to get some stuff, some live shows going. So make sure you got the dinner bell turned on so you know when the Fans of Something Kitchen is cooking. And like we always say at the end of every show, there's one thing you have to do, and that is keep being fans of something.